Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back once again to Last Minute Kickout. I am, as always, Pete Titans Creed Nethercoat, joined by my cohorts in crime. One, Mr. Kevin, the Kevin Eva. Sup. And the paragon of DDP Yoga, Mr. John Turbo Finley himself. How you doing?
Bang, how you doing?
He's fallen into it now.
I might as well. I'm even better. I'm even more of a DDP worshipper because I got myself a Hall of Fame ring as well.
He's just shilling now. He's just shilling. This is hashtag not an ad. Yes, we are here and we're talking about the 4-hour event which happened recently called WWE Super Showdown. I nearly called it the Super Showdown Under again. I really need to stop doing that. It's annoying.
SkippySlam.
That's the one. It was okay. It wasn't by any means bad. I think it fell over from being good at the beginning, okay at the end, and like lacking in the middle again. But I mean, what else are you going to do when none of the Raw championships are on the line and it's all SmackDown belts on the line? It's bizarre. But yeah, no. Quick thoughts on it, guys, before we go in depth in the matches.
No, you go ahead.
No. It was very good for a Raw and SmackDown Super Show.
Effectively, it was kind of that, but in hindsight, it was also quite a bad, upscaled house show. Everyone says over glorified house show. I say upscaled. See, I'm different.
I think the biggest problem with that is because Raw is 3 hours, and that's what pay-per-views used to be, and these bigger pay-per-views seem to be scaled to 4 hours. It literally just feels a house show, but without as many talky promos, for the most part, except for the backstage segments, which is pretty annoying, but yeah, okay. So everybody's about middle on the fence. But yeah. Okay, so we opened the pay-per-view with The New Day defending against The Bar. I'll be honest, if I was going to go out on a limb, I would have said that this would have been one of the titles that would have changed hands. I was expecting The Bar to actually take it and, lead into a proper feud where they fight against each other for the belts. But just me.
I didn't have that feeling with this match. I mean, it was a good match overall. Especially liked how the finish turned out. With a new unique double finisher or double team finish. But no, it's I didn't really have that vibe with how it was being worked, or played out. I didn't feel the Bar was going to get the win here.
No, I mean, when you watch the match, you don't get it. But I thought, I had specific points that I thought, there has to be at least one title change because it's an overseas pay-per-view.
And I pretty much me and a lot of people kind of called which one it was going to be.
I did once I found out who was wrestling in the specific match. Yes.
Yeah.
But I had a couple of things. As I've said for the last couple of shows, I didn't think AJ was going to drop the belt until post WWE game release, since that came out yesterday by day of recording.
Yeah.
So I still expected AJ to keep the belt. I expected the Becky Lynch to keep the belt because if anything's going to change there, it'll be at Evolution, and so I was expecting the tag titles to change. So, but there we go. But Kev, your thoughts?
I agree that the backstabber into the double stomp for the ending was a really nice move. There was a few nice little things in there. Cesaro tried to take Kofi Kingston's head off at one point with an uppercut.
Yes.
Oh, he tends to do that.
Which even for Cesaro looked like a pretty freaking vicious uppercut. Mm-hmm. There was also a sliding DDT by Xavier Woods. It was like baseball drop. It was like baseball slide into a DDT, as Ben Cesaro was on all fours, I think it was. That looks sick as hell. It's a curtain opener featuring the New Day. It's gonna hit all the buttons that you want as an opening match.
Yeah, it's a nice little kickstart.
As we've said before, the New Day are pretty much bred to be show openers at this point.
You've got all manner of things going on in there in terms of like innovating new little moves here, there, and everywhere. You've got Cesaro being Cesaro, and Sheamus was there too. And then at the end, you have Big E making out with the title belt on top of the turnbuckle for some god-known reason.
He just gets weirder and weirder, doesn't he?
He does. Although I will praise. I will praise Corey Graves for the line, "I don't know how many illegitimate trombones Woods has."
Well, even Cole doesn't know what Francesca we're on.
Yeah,
here.
that was the thing.
It's
It was like, how many Francescas are we on anymore? No one knows. It's like Snowball 2.
Yeah.
We had Francesca 2 a long time ago, and there are many other Francescas that have come and gone. But I think we're on Ultra Super Francesca 2 Turbo. Yeah.
Now.
Remix.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we're in the Snowball 2 situation with Francesca's. It's Francesca 2, and that's all we're going to stick with now. But yeah, it was what it needed to be. The crowd were well into it. They weren't later on with other things, which we'll probably touch on. Other than that, thumbs up.
Yeah.
Look, I'm doing the thumbs up now.
Brilliant stuff. Moving swiftly on, Becky Lynch defending the SmackDown Women's Championship against Charlotte Flair. So, as we've said, going into it, we knew that the women's title wasn't going to change. It's not going to happen till Evolution.
At least.
At the very earliest, yes. I'll be honest, with the way this match ended, I literally feel like I blinked and the title appeared in the ring.
Nah, I do kind of recall Becky being the kind of like heel-ish and saying, it's like, okay, it's like, yeah, I've had enough, I'm taking my title and going and whatnot.
Yeah,
and it was kind of like there. Aye. No, it's like, I didn't notice that for it. So it didn't just magically just appear at the ring apron and Becky was like, ooh!
But we could kind of see why you did. It was just like she wouldn't get her grab, then like Charlotte hugged her from behind, and then they sort of ended up in the ring somehow with the belt there, and then the belt stayed there because the referee just didn't bloody take any notice of it. There was, again, we had some interesting stuff. Why, considering we're still trying to do this thing where, honestly, guys, Becky's the heel. Please boo her. Please.
But we can't. It's getting difficult.
WWE, whoever made that match, whoever produced that match, considering the situation, you don't put a yay boo punching spot in that in the matches. Because funnily enough, yays are going to be for Becky and all the boos are going to be for Charlotte. I don't know who thought of that, but it was really, really dumb.
While you're touching on who produced this match, I want to know why we've gone from Becky, super angry, fighty heel, who beat Charlotte clean, and is super angry, fighty heel in every promo, and then we get to this match, and she becomes sniveling heel.
Yeah, she's going to be a smug chicken shit heel. She is.
Yeah.
And I don't get it.
Except at the very, very end, when Charlotte went to get her, and she sort of hit her from behind, and Charlotte hit Becky from behind, and then Charlotte was booed again. And then Becky proceeded to knock 7 tons of brick dust out of her. left her lying, and then walked off, and everyone was, "Hey, Becky!" And then she suddenly snapped back to, "I will beat your ass," after getting DQ'd.
I just don't get it how she can beat Charlotte clean for the title as a heel, and then go on and be smug chicken shit.
It's going all backwards with this. It's like it seems to be flipping between writers, and they're not correlating with each other or bookers.
I get. All the storyline team should be there to do is guide the storyline in a position and turn around to the wrestlers and go, "This is what you need to do to progress the story between you two. I need you to act like this. If you need to have Becky win the match by smacking Charlotte with an object, not necessarily the title, you can still do that without making her look like a fucking chicken shit doing it. You know?
I mean, even the DQ itself was just like, I had no problems with there being a DQ.
No, absolutely not.
Because it was Becky's thing of just like, I don't actually need this nonsense. But the way it was done, we were just like, it
was very lackluster. But granted, it was the only DQ finish on this card, so which could have been worse. It could have been much more kind of like DQ finishes.
Yeah, we did have 2 items that were no DQ, so. Yeah. But there was a load of silliness. We had a 4 horsewomen acknowledgement, which is interesting considering they're still plugging away in the background about how the MMA 4 horsewomen are doing stuff, and it's interesting that WWE actually acknowledged the 4 of them, including Sasha and Bayley, as the 4 horsewomen.
But I have noticed that they do it a lot, though.
They have to emphasize it in some way.
I don't
keep it in the mind.
I'd understand if all 4 of them had been on the brand together, but I don't think they have. Like, even when 3 of them debuted, Bayley was left behind, and when Bayley came onto the scene, I think Becky was on SmackDown on her own by that point. Yeah. So it's just like, okay, but they've never been a stable on one footing.
We're still going for Charlotte versus
Ronda Rousey.
Ronda, yeah.
I believe at some point
at Mania.
Yeah.
We think. I am for Charlotte beating Ronda via interference from the rest of the horsewomen, setting them up as a heel faction.
It would be good. I'll tell you, I don't think they'll pull the trigger on being a heel faction. I think they'll definitely do it as a face faction. And it'll mostly be because the Riott Squad, I think, will get out of control. Like, they'll literally run roughshod over the entire women's division.
Somebody had better tell the Riots to start getting them in that direction then.
Oh yeah,
since Friday, since this Monday, yeah.
Because they look like a dominant force to me.
It's all right. We'll just after Evolution.
Anyway, when it's a Charlotte match.
Fuck off, right?
Right. Botch Festorama. Okay, so let's start at the beginning. Renee Young, and frankly, Renee Young was pretty awful. I thought, and I've yet to be impressed by her commentary. I've got to say, I don't know. I think she's not got the pace yet. I think she's still trying to do.
I think she's still getting overpowered by Graves and Cole.
Yeah, I think she's still trying to find her voice in the 2 and the headset.
Absolutely. Well, it's always the case when you're the third wheel on that commentary team. You're always going to have that problem. Booker T had that problem. Hell, even Jerry Lawler to a certain degree had that problem at times. Byron Saxton has that problem.
Byron Saxton has the additional problem of the other 2 actively trying to bury anything he says.
Yeah.
Which really doesn't help.
Considering what we have as secondary options of being the coach and Booker T, I think she does manage to stand her own, because at least Graves acknowledges her in a positive light.
Graves wouldn't dare
Yeah, well, of course
say
he wouldn't.
anything marvelous, would he? So anyway, we had Charlotte comes out, and Renee's all over it. Oh, look at that robe, stunning! Charlotte proceeds to get her foot caught in the robe at that exact moment. Gets her left foot all caught, has to sort of like go like that and wiggle her way out. She pulled out of the ring and almost landed on her head in a really actually could have been quite nasty moment. And just to put a nice underline on Charlotte's awareness of what's going on, the armbar sequence. Becky proceeds to like do a whole load of things on the second armbar, with like just manipulating the fingers, and she's like twisting around, she's moving the wrist and everything. Charlotte's face doesn't react to any of it. Becky is there going all this stuff to try and be really, really vicious, and Charlotte's just like no reaction to anything that she's doing. Just like, God's sake. But yeah, match ends. She gets laid out. Clothesline Bexploder, running knee into the side to the cheers of the crowd, and she's left looking all sad face again, leaning up against the barricade again.
I said, feel sorry for her.
No,
of course not. We won't.
But yeah, pay attention. Just pay attention, for the love of God, Charlotte.
Yeah. So after that, in a match that everybody saw the result coming, John Cena and Bobby Lashley versus Kevin Owens and Elias.
John Cena wasn't there. What are you talking about?
Yeah, he was there. He was like not in the match for like 95% of it.
Well, I saw John, but it wasn't John Cena.
I saw John. It wasn't Cena.
Yeah, are we talking about his hair? Is this what we're alluding to?
It was a brave decision for them to team up Bobby Lashley with John Bradshaw Layfield, but
you saw it as well.
Yeah.
Oh God, yeah.
That's fine then. At least
my
that
God.
wasn't the only one.
Yeah. Hey, I immediately made that reaction as well. And practically everyone on the internet had that kind of like reaction.
It's
like, it's John Bradshaw Cena.
So we're in this sort of weird twilight zone where Cena's got his hair back and Shawn Michaels has lost it all, and
yeah,
everybody's like gaining hair and losing hair and flipping from what they are. Corbin's going to probably get his back next week. Because I'm just going to walk out there with all his locks back completely as if nothing's ever happened.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. Cena was in it for about 5 minutes, but there's a very good reason why. They didn't want... Yes, exactly. They didn't want injuries because he's doing all the films.
Yep.
Yeah. And his sixth move of doom. Oh.
You
were talking about that. Yeah, you were talking about that move being showcased in China, that one house show, and now seeing it on the Super Showdown. I was like, "What, Eddie? That finished the match."
It's the fact that literally when Cena came in, he did all 5 and finished from the 6th, and you had Cole losing his chair, going, "Oh my God,
it's the sixth move of doom."
Cole legitimately made me crack up with that.
Oh God!
The sixth move of doom.
It's just ridiculous.
Him actually being aware.
Being self-aware. It's like I don't know how I feel with the commentators having to be self-aware. Whereas I know I see this like from reviewers and ourselves and pointing these out and whatnot. But when you have the commentators pointing it out, then you go, okay, now it's getting ridiculous.
I think it's been particularly said by Cena what to call it at that point, because Cena is always very self-referential with the crowd now.
He knows about the moves of doom.
No, absolutely.
He's mentioned it before in promos.
Yeah, Owens took the pin as to be expected. Fun fact: Owens has lost 88% of his matches in 2018.
Fun fact: he's probably not going to have any more.
No, he's he after Raw, he's out for rehab. He's going for a much needed operation, I believe, is what's on the grapevine.
Something to do with his knee, and we're not overly sure. Everyone's injuring their knees at the minute.
Well,
they're always on their feet, so
you know what? I'd rather people injure their knees instead of injuring something else with all the suicide dives people have been doing in the last 9 months. Good on Kevin. He needs something. Off the back of Raw.
Yeah,
spoilers,
he does.
If you haven't seen it.
He does. If you'd like to give me something, please do send it.
If that was a legitimate double turn to build sympathy for Owens so that he actually gets something on the way back, the man will get cheered regardless. Hopefully it shows a push. I'm not sure how long he's going to be out. I think it's going to be an 9 month jobby.
Also, he'll miss Mania again.
He'll miss Mania.
That sucks.
I think so. It's not going to be. It's not going to be a 6 month.
Well, I was going to say if he and Zayn can come back at the same time and just dominate the team, that'd be good.
They could attack Shane McMahon again.
For fuck's sake.
Just randomly. Just attack him with no reason at all. I'm not forgotten!
I'm not sure how much we want to get into the next match because it literally felt like a piss break match, as much as I hate to talk shit about these guys, but the IIconics beat Asuka and Naomi. Hometown winning.
Yeah. Now, you see, when it came to hometown wins, this is the one that I thought that the hometown was going to lose. Because the IIconics were not having any momentum.
Name me a match the IIconics have won.
Yeah, I can't recall one since their call-up. So.
Oh no, one of them beat Charlotte Flair, didn't it?
Kind of mind.
Maybe. Who knows?
They were instrumental in the
cash-in.
The cash-in, yeah.
Yeah, that was their only notable thing that they've done since coming up is to cause Carmella to win the title.
Yeah.
At one point.
I don't know. It feels like the IIconics are more divas than they are wrestlers.
They act more like divas. And frankly, when I was watching them in NXT, their in-ring work was not of the women's standard that has been portrayed by the others. So I have no idea why they got they've been getting, or they got this. This is kind of like their pity win, essentially. And granted, it's happening while Asuka, of all people, is muddled into this bottom tier women's division garbage.
Well, they've popped the main thing that everybody knew her for, so now they don't know what to do with her. That's the thing. The streak is done, so no one knows what to do with her now.
Yeah. So it's like, and it's just annoying. It's just simply annoying.
Have they considered making her face Triple H a bunch of times?
Have her do it. She's gone up against Tajiri in not Tajiri. Tajiri in Japan.
Jesus.
Put her up against So
okay, that's a match I want to see. That's gonna be brutal as fuck.
well, sadly, Tajiri can't wrestle in WWE anymore. But hell, it's like no, she used to wrestle a good amount of male competitors back in Japan, back in the back when she was up there.
Japan is Japan, isn't it?
Have her go up against I don't know who's
not doing anything.
Well, get bloomin' Ellsworth back in, get him beaten up by Asuka a couple of more times.
How about
or have her go to 205 Live.
Get Kanellis.
Well, he's out.
I'll bring him back anyway.
Yeah.
Injure him some more.
Annoyingly, it was. It felt like a piss break match, and we shall treat it as such. It's a shame. I think everybody in that ring could have done a lot more than what they are, but what are you going to do? Next, the last of the SmackDown titles, and heaven forbid why the WWE Championship is in the middle of a card more than anything else. But AJ Styles defending the WWE Championship against Samoa Joe. Now, bearing in mind that I said at the beginning of this session that I knew AJ wasn't going to win, this was still a fantastic match, but the ending left something to be desired for. Like the way that it turned into this whole knee thing is beyond me.
Yeah, well, it was something to try and help Joe, because Joe needed to lose this match, right?
Yeah.
So he had to lose and have a reason to why he lost. And the tweaking of the knee, granted, it's been used countless times. Like, as you said, Kev, this is the knee thing with a lot of people. That's been happening all year, apparently. Ever since Rollins injured his knee back in 2000.
So this is all Rollins' fault. Oh, of course. Yeah. It all makes sense now for some reason.
Yeah, it's like, for some reason...
How about we just blame Cena's nose? Cena's nose didn't get Rollins' knee over, so his knee exploded, and therefore...
That's a good point. That's a good point.
Ever since Rollins did that buckle bomb and Sting broke his knee...
Yep.
There was a backstory to all of that, which is why the knee really came into play, which was AJ saying about how you won't be walking out.
Foreshadowing. Yes,
I do get that, but it's like after SmackDown as well, and the knee is still a thing. Is
selling.
More. Yeah.
I was commending Kevin Owens after.
No, absolutely, and we have done. But
because he's been able to sell, after a hard night at a pay-per-view, and he got absolutely destroyed, at one point, and he's either limping to the ring the next night on Raw, or doesn't show up in Raw at all. So with the angle where they have to have Joe keep selling the knee going into his qualifying match for the World Cup at Crown Jewel, it was only fitting. And again, like I said, it had to work into him losing the fight, losing the match as well. It had to be a factor. Otherwise, people weren't going to believe how, Joe, this dominant force, could be, beaten clean by AJ Styles. But anyway.
There was a lot to like in that match, though.
There's absolutely a lot to like.
Really hard-hitting stuff.
Yeah. I mean, one of my personal spots was that I liked was the work with the chair, where AJ Styles just, one point just put out, sit down, gets him ready. Gets him ready. Gets sizing Joe up for whatever to do next, and then Joe just doing a uranagi, with AJ onto the chair that was already open. Love that spot.
He turned him inside out of a clothesline that busted his mouth open. We had AJ getting a series of kicks in, and then just Joe going "Wah!" and just like chopping him into the middle of the
just like
just knocked him flying. We had. I love the fact with this match, considering it was it was no DQ. I love the fact that it took so long for the weapons to come in.
Yes.
And the match was so much better as a result of that. It was a proper hard hitting stuff. Everyone did their signature pieces. After the injury, AJ being so very targeted was really nicely done. Him hitting the 450 on the leg, very specifically, was nicely done. We had the Emerald's Frozen from Joe, aka the Island Driver, which was his finisher for a while. And Graves said, he very rarely does it indeed. It's like one of the things that he sort of pops out now and again as it's like the Super AA. Basically, it's Joe's Super AA is the Island Driver. We had another sweet Joe power slam.
Oh yes.
Keep doing it. Keep doing it on AJ because AJ just looks dead afterwards. And we had what was basically a coquina clutch release belly to back suplex.
Oh yeah. Oh, I love that spot. I was like, the elevation that Joe got with that with AJ, and AJ being able to do the whole rotation and not jank his neck on impact either.
It was literally a pivot around the neck head. It was like anything. It really just went hit really hard. So looked it was vicious as hell, and like you said, it gave an out to Joe. Joe still looks strong. Styles got to look pretty freaking vicious. They even did tease their Hell in a Cell ending again, and then they went a different way with it, which was nice. Lots to enjoy there. Lots to enjoy. But it's AJ Styles versus Samoa Joe. Of course you're gonna.
Yes. The next match, this definitely feels like it's back to old pay-per-view form because it feels like another piss break match with another women's match in it. The Riott Squad versus Ronda Rousey and the Bella Twins.
I skipped this entirely.
You didn't really miss much.
I figured I wouldn't.
As I said, it literally feels like we've gone back to the ways of old. Now, I assume it's because they were going to run out of time with the hard-hitting matches they had on. And we'll talk about that again in a bit because it pissed me off with one match.
Oh, yeah.
And but it just feels like that they've just relegated the women back down to having these minute matches because, again, it was just over so quickly.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I'll give them props, even though, I'm surprised that the ref didn't stop it and it's like, no, you gotta get her out of the ring. She's not the legal one. Ronda Rousey finishing up the match with a double armbar to, two members of the Riott Squad to get the win. Some uniqueness to it, but overall, I mean, her performance is fine. It's just obviously the match as a whole was just utterly forgettable. It didn't need to be there. It didn't lead to anything either.
The only reason that match should have been there is for the twist they did on Raw.
Yeah,
it should have been there.
Yeah, but of course we had something else.
Exactly, it was the only reason it wasn't there, which is annoying because it then fell into a fucking subsequent match on Raw. Which is just stupid. We'll move on to something that I unfortunately missed, but you guys probably didn't. Cedric Alexander defending the Cruiserweight Championships against Buddy Murphy, another hometown boy. I say hometown, I mean Australia.
Well, actually, no. He actually is billed from Melbourne, Australia. So this was his hometown match.
Well, I'll let you guys take one away. I'll let you guys take this away.
By God, this was quite the match. Both Cedric Alexander and Buddy Murphy was just on top form. Buddy Murphy was hot out of the gate when the match started. He just put that knee right into Cedric Alexander, and you thought that was going to be it right there, but no. And they kept everyone on edge for throughout the match, thinking which way it will go with finishers here and there. Buddy Murphy being able to kick out at the lumbar check, which was a rarity. So yeah, I mean, overall, high flying, hard hitting, really good.
Fast, furious, a fantastic advertisement for 205 Live, and nice to see 205 Live match, Cruiserweight match, so high up on the card, even if it was the likes of this.
It's definitely leaps and bounds of how it was going to be going out with what's his face being champion.
Oh yeah.
He who shall not be named. Yeah, he who shall not be named.
He who shall not be named free.
Yeah. It's like
Fair enough.
I'm surprised he just, if he was still champion by this point, by God, it would have been nice if he got, slaughtered just in like a 2-minute match. Not doing even 2 minutes, just like a minute.
But it doesn't matter because
It doesn't matter. We had this really good
representatives.
Match. Yeah.
All right then. Next we had. Sorry, I'm feeling very bored already announcing the name of this match. The Shield versus Braun Strowman, Dolph Ziggler, and Drew McIntyre. My interest in this match was 0 because none of those titles were on the line like I wanted it to be, and thus there was no interest to watch this match. And my interest in this completely evaporated on the week before on Raw when Baron Corbin says your belt isn't going to be defended until Crown Jewel, and I was just like,
nothing says excitement like nothing's going to happen.
I just don't get why none of the Raw championships were on the line here. I don't get it. It's again
because Raw's the B show and no one cares.
It's come back to what I said on the last time. You've put all of your belts on your main card and you've made it into a power trip versus Brothers of Destruction situation where they're just going to fight. And if they put the belts and they turn around and went, if you get a pinfall on whoever gets the pinfall wins the belt, and it would have made it interesting. It meant like the only 2 people who are going to eat a pin are going to be Braun Strowman. Doesn't matter if you beat him, or Dean Ambrose. Doesn't matter if you beat him, and it leads into the current storyline that they're working with Dean Ambrose.
Mm-hmm.
But no. Instead, we had Spot Fest.
Again. Yeah. It was heavily spot heavy with the start being a brawl happening and whatnot, and then the match going on afterwards. It's like I wasn't fully invested to it, and of course the dissension, that was happening with after Rowan hit the Superman punch accidentally to Dean, and then the thinking, is he gonna turn now? Ooh, and no, he's joining it and whatnot.
Was it this match? Because they just mixed in together. Was it this match or the follow up on Raw where Ambrose was going to get tackled by Strowman, but Strowman got speared through the barricade?
No, that was this match.
That was this match. That was a notable spot. I enjoyed that spot. I thought that was pretty good.
Yeah, and for the rest of the pay-per-view, that wall was broken, so they had to tape it up.
They do that a lot now. In the event that there's a barricade taken out, is like all the crime scene tape comes out.
So just get the white tape to make sure it's like what happened to the body.
Just mark out a load of bodies where Braun Strowman's just like murdered people around the ring.
But it's just there was no stakes at all, and thusly it was just 6 top name guys fighting at the top of a card for the entire thing of to just punch each other, and it was
with a tease of dissension.
With a tease of dissension, it was just boring.
Drew got a paycheck. I don't care.
And
but
again, they could have done the finish for what they did on Raw. It would have made Raw more interesting because of it, and it wouldn't have interfered with any of the other finishes.
You could have played on the fact that the other 2 didn't travel back with Dean. Dean's not spoken to them. Say Renee's not spoken to them. They could come to her and say, "Have you seen him?" No.
It was weird, bizarre. No fallout, no nothing. It was just air. Fair enough. Okay.
Speaking of air,
I need your opinion. I need to know whether this was a fuck up or whether this was intentional. I have to think it was intentional because of how long the last match went on.
I'm going to fall in that part where I think it was intentional.
Okay. we're going to talk about The Miz versus Daniel Bryan and what little of a match there was. Based on the fact that the main event was as long as it was, I have to assume that it was intentional, but they made it look like it was
accidental or a botch. At first, I thought it was a botch. I actually thought that.
I thought it was a botch because the music did its thing of it waited a space after the bell rang instead of like going on immediately.
I'd like to think it was just them sort of because like no one's going to believe this, and you know Miz doesn't believe it, and
so they were basically playing us a little bit.
Bryan seemed to be perfectly fine with it, which was like rather the clue that
I'm perfectly fine with it technically because it leads into the WrestleMania plan.
Yes, the great WrestleMania plan is happening.
Phase 1 of Pete's WrestleMania plan is on the way.
It is.
Do you think he actually wins that crown jewel? Do you think that?
I think they'll give the belt to Daniel Bryan. I absolutely believe they will.
Well, that'll make my trip to the 2 house shows at the UK tours more fun if Daniel Bryan's the champion.
I absolutely think they'll put the belt on Daniel Bryan. It's part of the plan because it will then lead into Daniel Bryan versus The Miz at what's after Crown Jewel?
Survivor Series.
I want to say, but Survivor Series is normally at the end of this month.
So November. No, it's a November pay-per-view. It's always a Thanksgiving pay-per-view. Survivor Series. So it'll be November.
Yeah, because Survivor Series was created to go against
Starrcade. Yep.
Not in a deliberate way at all.
No, and they didn't force pay-per-view providers to
not at all.
Supply.
They made that. John, they made that decision of their own will. Their own free will.
They had free will.
Perfectly free to make that decision.
Completely understand.
Actually, say that we're due Starrcade as well, aren't we?
Supposedly as a network special, yeah.
We're gonna have but will they actually show it this time, or is it just gonna?
Well, like I said, as a network special, supposedly. So
we'll see. But yeah, let's move on to the main event, the last time ever. Bullshit. The Undertaker versus Triple H.
1-on-1.
There's
a tiny little asterisk
because this match was totally 1-on-1, wasn't it? Of the Undertaker accompanied by Kane versus Triple H accompanied by Bald Michaels. Shawn Michaels. There was a large part of me who actually thought he had his hair still until that hat came off, and I'm like, what? I'll be honest. I thought the match was brilliant. I thought the ending was top notch, and I thought they're actually going to do it. They're not going to lead into DX versus the Brothers of Destruction at Crown Jewel. They're not going to do it. Brilliant, absolutely. Of course they did. It had to be Saudi oil money that brought Shawn Michaels out of retirement, didn't it?
It made sense that it was okay last time. We'll throw everything at Taker to get it done.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I'm surprised the kitchen sink
it was like
wasn't there.
3 super kicks, a sledgehammer shot, and
a pedigree, and 2 pedigrees.
The thing that amused me about the end of the match is like Kane just looked so bewildered to be in the ring.
Kane was freaking useless all the way through.
Wasn't he just?
He pulled the ref out. That's all he did.
Practically. He was a little bit intimidating at times. Shawn Michaels did more in that match than Kane.
Yeah.
And Kane's taller than the fucker.
Kane marched around the ring and looked moody. And that was it. And half of him looking moody is the fact that his mask is literally made to look moody.
Yeah, I'm surprised. I'm half guessing that Kane pretty much was just thinking about what he had to do when he got back to his mayor's office.
Well, he also might be one that couldn't really take bumps.
No, not really,
because he's doing the work stuff. I mean, it was nice that all his money's being donated to Knox County, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think there was only one really bad spot. Well, no, there were quite a couple of botches that happened during this match.
Oh yeah, there was a few.
The biggest one which I remember is the one where Triple H went over the barrier and hit a plastic chair.
Yep.
And I realized that all the audience were sitting on plastic chairs. And I was just like,
well, if you looked closer, there was all the barbecues around as well. That was.
I mean, it's not
going on.
But it's just it amused me. But yeah, poor man smashed his head against a plastic chair.
It could have been worse. He could have smashed his head on that wheelchair that he was so dangerously close to.
Yeah, that was right.
Right into
the
wheelchairs there.
Well, it would have been hilarious if he did bump into that disabled person and he just went flying. Ooh, that would have been it.
There was a lot.
Yeah, he sells that.
You can tell that Taker has been putting a lot in for this match, but even after the hip surgery, you can clearly tell that he shouldn't be in that ring.
Oh yeah, the bit when they went over that barricade and whatnot, that walk and brawl was so sluggish and so slow. I'll notify this that also Undertaker doesn't give a fuck about anything because he took that cable and just started to put it around Triple H's neck, and Hunter's probably like, oh shit, no, stop it.
I'll be honest with you. I think realistically, the only way you could make him look sluggish like this is if he's just himself and just does the Dead Man Inc. gimmick instead of Phenom. Like, I understand the Phenom is a big part of who the Undertaker is, but as someone who only started watching wrestling when it was Dead Man Inc., like literally the first time I saw the Undertaker was Judgment Day when he came in and interrupted the Iron Man match. Yeah. Yep. That's the first time I saw the Undertaker. So
that's same here.
So let's. I mean, the problem is this is the internet, and let's call them classic Undertaker fans versus you as, let's say, modern Undertaker fans. Classic Undertaker fans think that the American Badass period is utter heresy and absolutely terrible.
Some people think
nothing will better the classics.
I just want to see him come down on the motorbike again.
Yeah, I reckon he could. Just an absolute proper
make his entrances faster.
Have that for Mania, just being the phenom American Badass.
I mean, here's the thing. I mean, when he was Dead Man Inc., American Badass, he had all of the lumbering big guys in that gimmick type thing. As the Phenom Taker, he's never done the lumbering big guy stuff. And if he's too...
He was also unfit as well at that point in time as well.
Absolutely. But he's not at that... He's done it more... What I'm trying to say is because he's done that sort of lumbering big guy thing and it fits more with that sort of period of time and that sort of gimmick, he could probably pull off the fact that he can't do a lot. It might actually be best for the
think
character.
A little bit of that is the way he sells now. He sort of... I think he like oversells his own tiredness a little bit. With just how he is. Is it the one where like they try to do like the belly the drop over onto the barricade that was down? I honestly think Tripp sort of stopped it because he just thought he was going to land on the actual foot that was sticking up of that barricade, and he sort of like stopped it because he was going to over rotate, and it sort of like collapsed a bit. I'll give Taker this. He was after the Pillmanizing of his neck, because he needed that as well as the multiple pedigrees and the multiple everything else. He Pillmanizing the man's neck. He actually throughout the rest of that match was like really selling the fact that he was struggling for breath because of the throat damage as opposed to everything else. So that was good. But yeah, we had Kane being useless. Shawn Michaels being all over the place and just being a pest.
I think the whole idea was that he blinded Undertaker at the end of the match. That's why he lost. He couldn't see what was going on, like it's because the hat fell off and that was it. Gone.
Well, actually, I do have a question. I understand, eventually a man loses his hair, and he made the decision at some point that he's gonna just go, hey, I'll join Hunter in the Baldy
being
Club.
bald with a beard.
The bald break kid. But can you explain to me why he was wearing not just the hat? He was wearing one of those things that you put on the underside of car shades.
Oh, right, okay.
The stuff you put on the car, sunshades that flip down, and you put like a leather thing on there for a couple of credit cards or an extra set of keys or something. He appeared to be wearing one of those around his head, and I didn't quite understand why. Or it was like a cummerbund for his forehead. It was really bizarre.
I think it's the thing to keep sweat out of the eyes more than anything else.
Keep sweat out of the eyes. I think we've got something like it's called hair.
Yeah, he doesn't have that anymore.
Well, he doesn't have it anymore.
Well, it's very careless of him, and it owns.
What
happened? You know what happened? Shawn Michaels actually already came out of retirement, had a hair versus hair match with John Cena.
Right.
John Cena won and took all of Shawn Michaels' hair, had it surgically grafted to his head, and accidentally gave the surgeon the wrong picture. He gave a picture of John Bradshaw Layfield, and that is how this all happened.
I think we've missed a kind of a kicker with some of the names we should have been calling some of these guys. We should have gone Cena, and we should be having the hard-boiled kid.
All the King of Kings horses and all the King of Kings men couldn't put Shawn Michaels together again.
Right. At that, I think it's time to go down to the quick break points for the show. I'm not going to go first this week. Mr. John Turbo Finley.
Okay. I think overall, I think again it was all right. Just a couple of dud matches and questionable things. I'll say this time around 7.5. Like, there was still a decent amount of work rate by a lot of the guys this time around, and besides some of the kind of like questionable kind of like matches, like the tag matches and whatnot, and as you said, Pete, no Raw titles being put on the line at all, but the notable stuff was, of course, the Cruiserweight title match, the WWE title match, the women's title match. Those were all good. Yeah.
Kev?
How much did you give it, John?
7.5.
6.
Do you know what? I was going to score it higher than I'm going to do tonight, but after reflection on what we've talked about, I'm going to agree with Kev. I think it's a 6.
Right. If it's the biggest gap there's ever been between me and John in terms of scoring, I'm being very ordinary.
Yeah, I think I'm being too generous. Maybe
I'm being generous. I think with a 6.
I think you enjoyed it. I think I was going to give it a 7. I think a 6 is more in line with what I've talked about. I think they were too safe, and I think that's the problem. I think they were too safe because of their long-term plans. And they've had a plan for what they want to do, and all of a sudden they've gone, Saudi Arabia has given us lots of money to do 2 pay-per-views. Australia's going to give us a lot of money for doing a pay-per-view there. And they've put it in, and as we talked about during the Greatest Royal Rumble, it felt rushed and not part of everything. And it feels kind of like they've done that here as well. But because they've had the time to fit it in, they've managed to work it into where they want to take the stories. It still feels rushed, and I think that's the problem.
There was a good beginning, there was a good end, there was a good thing in the middle, which for some reason was the WWE Championship, and everything else was kind of
off again. But yes, the next show is going to be WWE Evolution, which is 50 women apparently are going to be fighting on that card, but apparently for whatever reason, because there's only 6 matches so far, and one of them is a tag match, I'm going to assume there's going to be some sort of women's battle royal, women's Royal Rumble for something that's going to happen there, which is going to get the other, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. So there's another 36 people there that they're going to have to stick in there. So I'm imagining a women's Royal Rumble, women's battle royal for something.
Battle Royal, yeah.
Maybe they put in the that there as opposed to having it at Mania from now on.
You mean
the women's battle royale?
Women's... Maybe
the insert wrestler name here. Battle Royal.
But yes, we will be back. That's going to be in about just over 2 weeks. But since there's only 6 matches and maybe a battle royal, it probably won't be a 4-hour show. Fingers crossed.
6 hours.
Thank you very much for watching. As always, all of the links to all of the stuff will be in the description box below due to the magic that Mr. Kevin does with all of his editing goodness. There's no need to put it on screen. You've heard it from us more than enough times. I have been Pete Titan Screed Nethercoat, joined as always by Mr. Kevin Eva, the Kevin Eva, and Mr. John Turbo Finley, the paragon of DDP Yoga himself. Until the next time we speak, ladies and gentlemen, we'll see you for the next episode of Last Minute Kickout.
Bye, everybody.